Hey everyone, and welcome back to another deep dive.
I'm excited for this one.
Me too. This one's it's really something.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's from the Our Guy Cry, and it's about this huppapend.
Oh, our guy cry. I've seen some stuff on there.
Yeah, they can get pretty intense, and this one's no exception. Basically, this guy's trying to figure out if his marriage is worth saving.
Okay, how long have they been together?
14 years together, 12 of those married.
Wow, so over a decade. That's a significant chunk of time.
Definitely. And it sounds like it's been a pretty rocky road, like just a month after their wedding, the wife cheats on him.
Whoa, hold on. A month?
Right, like talk about starting your marriage off on the wrong foot.
You think that might be something he's still, holding on to?
It's hard to say, but he does mention in the post that he forgave her but never forgot.
Oh, I see. That classic forgive but never forget.
Yeah, and he even admits to bringing it up in arguments years later, which makes you wonder, like, is true forgiveness even possible when you're constantly reminded of the past?
Right. It's that lingering resentment. Like forgiveness, it's often talked about as this magical cure-all, but I don't think it's that simple.
No, definitely not. It's got to be way more complicated than that.
It's a process, right? It takes time and effort and sometimes even therapy to truly let go of the pain and resentment.
And it sounds like maybe they never really dealt with that initial betrayal, you know? Because the story doesn't end there.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. The husband, he admits to having anger issues and it kind of blames his wife for it. Like he says she knew how to push his buttons.
Interesting. How so? Like, what kind of things would she do?
He gives this example of her criticizing him about the way he folds laundry. Can you believe that?
Laundry? Really? I feel like that's got to be code for something else, right? Like maybe deeper communication issues.
Yeah, totally. It's probably not about the actual laundry.
Right. It's probably about feeling disrespected or unappreciated.
Exactly. And this just created this like negative feedback loop between them.
Oh, yeah, that constant criticism and defensiveness. It's a classic pattern in struggling relationships.
And then to make matters even worse, the husband gets drunk one night and allegedly makes out with a coworker's wife.
Wait, what? Hold on. So we have infidelity on both sides now.
Well, he claims to have blacked out and doesn't remember anything.
Oh, so now we have alcohol in the mix.
Exactly. It's like adding fuel to the fire.
It just gets messier and messier.
And you know what's crazy? The wife finds out about this incident and is devastated. But instead of like giving up, the husband throws himself into self-improvement.
Really? Like, what does he do?
Therapy, quitting drinking, he loses over 100 pounds.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's like he's trying to make up for his mistakes and save the marriage.
So he's really putting in the effort. But I gotta wonder, is it enough? Like, can one person's efforts really save a relationship if the other person is, not on board?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait till part 2 to find out.
Because the story takes another crazy turn. But we'll leave you hanging there for now.
We'll be back soon to unpack the rest of this wild ride.
And trust me, you don't want to miss it. All right, so we left off on a pretty big cliffhanger. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the community response to this post.
Oh, yeah. What did people have to say?
I mean, it's Reddit, so you can imagine, right? There were a lot of strong opinions.
I bet. Was everyone on the husband's side?
Well, a lot of people were definitely team husband. They were like, dude, you deserve better. She cheated on you. She doesn't appreciate you. Walk away.
Makes sense. That initial betrayal is tough to come back from.
Right. But there were also some people, not a ton, but some who were like, hold on, maybe there's more to the story.
Oh, interesting. So team wife.
Yeah, kind of. They pointed to his anchor issues, the makeout incident, and were like, maybe she has her reasons for being unhappy.
Okay, so they're saying it's not so black and white.
Exactly. And then there was this other group, the voice of reason.
Oh, I like those.
Me too. They were all about like practical advice, get a lawyer, protect yourself financially, prioritize your mental health.
That's good advice, regardless of what he decides to do about the marriage.
Right. So overall, I think the biggest takeaway from the comments was this emphasis on self-respect.
Yeah, like knowing your worth and not settling for less than you deserve.
Exactly. And it really got me thinking about like the limits of forgiveness. Is there a point where it's just not possible?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, some people believe that certain betrayals are just unforgivable.
Like infidelity.
Yeah, that's a big one. But others say that forgiveness is always possible. It just depends on the people involved and the circumstances.
So no easy answers, huh?
Nope. But I think it's important to remember that forgiveness is a personal journey. It's about finding peace for yourself, not necessarily about condoning the other person's actions.
That's a good way to put it. Okay, so back to the story. Remember that cliffhanger we left you on? Well, here's where things get really crazy. The husband, despite his wife's request for a divorce and her distant behavior, he still suspects she's having an affair.
Oh, no. With the coworker?
Yep. And guess what? He catches them.
Oh, wow. Talk about adding insult to injury.
Right. It's like the ultimate betrayal after everything he's done to try to save the marriage.
So now what? What does he do?
Well, that's where we pick up in part 3.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Okay, so the husband catches his wife with the coworker. I mean, where do you even go from there?
Talk about a punch to the gut.
Right, like after all that effort he put into changing, the therapy, quitting drinking, losing weight.
Yeah, it's gotta feel like a huge slap in the face. Like, what was the point of it all?
Exactly. It makes you question everything, you know?
Absolutely. And it really highlights this idea that sometimes individual effort isn't enough.
Right, you can't force someone to want to be with you.
Exactly. And I think that's probably the hardest thing for this husband to accept right now.
I bet. I mean, he's probably feeling so many things at once.
Oh, for sure. Hurt, betrayal, anger, maybe even a sense of relief.
Relief. Why relief?
Well, sometimes when you're holding on to a relationship that's clearly not working, there's a part of you that knows it's over, but you're afraid to let go.
Oh, I see. So catching her in the act kind of confirmed what he already knew deep down.
Yeah, it brings a sense of closure, even if it's painful.
Makes sense. So what now? What should he do?
Well, first and foremost, I think he needs to take care of himself.
Yeah, like emotionally and mentally.
Exactly. This is a major trauma, and he needs time to process it.
Therapy could be really helpful here.
Absolutely. A therapist can provide him with the tools and support he needs to work through his feelings.
And practically speaking, what else should he do?
I think it's crucial for him to protect himself legally.
Yeah, especially with a divorce on the horizon.
Right. He should consult with a lawyer and figure out his rights, especially regarding custody of his son.
That's so important. And those Reddit commenters, the pragmatists, they had some good advice too.
Oh, yeah, about focusing on what he can control.
Right, like his own health, his finances, his relationship with his son.
Exactly. Those are the things he has power over, even in this chaotic situation.
I think that's such a powerful message. So ultimately, should he stay or go?
That's a decision only he can make.
But based on everything we've discussed, it seems like the odds are stacked against them.
I'd say so. There's been so much hurt, so much betrayal. It's hard to imagine coming back from that.
And even if he could forgive her, can they really rebuild trust after all this?
That's the million-dollar question. And I'm not sure they even have the same vision for the future anymore.
It's a tough situation, no doubt about it.
It is, but I think there's a valuable lesson here for all of us.
What's that?
That sometimes letting go is the bravest and kindest thing you can do.
For yourself and for the other person.
Exactly. It doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're choosing to move forward in a way that honors your own well-being.
Well said. This deep dive has been heavy, but so insightful.
I agree. It's really made me think about the complexities of relationships and the importance of self-respect.
Me too. And I hope it's given our listeners some food for thought as well.
If you're enjoying these deep dives, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast.
Voices of the Soul, wherever you get your podcasts.
And for more thought-provoking content, check out our YouTube channel, Shauna Polich.
We love connecting with you all. Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Until next time.
Keep diving deep.